Hi everyone, good evening, good to see you all. And tonight I have a special exercise that I want to do with you, and that's to do with resolving fear in your body, so you can stop suffering and start feeling a lot less stressed and a lot happier. So I see 4 patterns or 4 strategies. I'm just hoping that everything is working. That's one. I see 4 strategies that my clients use that are not working when it comes to fearfulness or releasing fear from their body. And so tonight I just want to go over those 4 strategies that actually make fear a lot worse, and it makes your anxiety and tension worse. And then I'm going to do a simple exercise to show you what you can do to gradually peel off those layers of stress from your body, so you can be the beautiful, loving person that you are. Because remember, fear and love are on the same spectrum. So for instance, if on the same frequency, so if this is love and this is fear, or they're each other's opposites, you could say, and your fear levels are there, you're not going to feel very loving or lovable or respond to love, and you actually start to miss out on the meaning of life. And but I want to share something really, really interesting with you. So scientists, they discovered that if your mom, when she was pregnant with you, if she had a lot of fear in her body, or if she was in survival mode, your body was flooded with those chemicals, and your neurology developed around those chemicals or due to those chemicals. And so that means you have a certain set point or a tolerance for fear. And this is why a lot of people, you see people who are pretty much unshakable, like Peter, my hubby, is one of those types. Like, he's never felt a moment of anxiety in his life, I don't think. Whereas I spent 8 weeks in a psychiatric hospital in 2008 with panic disorder. Like, I was completely in the grip of panic. And unfortunately, our 6 children, all of my 6 children, know what it feels like to have panic attacks. They've all suffered from panic attacks and anxiety at different times of their life. And they obviously got it from me, even though I did my very, very best at the time to be calm and relaxed and healthy when I was pregnant. They still got their set point from me. So the key is, I guess the message is here, stop beating yourself up. If you have a lot of fear in your body, if you're easily frightened, if you don't feel safe, if you need a lot of security, you're not alone. And actually, in America, what did I read? Something like 40 million people are suffering from anxiety, which is the most common form of mental illness. So it's even more common than depression. So I have suffered from anxiety in the past a lot. I have never really fully suffered from depression, and I couldn't tell you what's worse. Like, some people have suffered from depression and anxiety, but for some people the depression is definitely worse, and for other people it's the anxiety, but both of them are not good. So I feel passionate about helping you to release some of that stress and tension from your body. Now, those same scientists, they actually believe that like no amount of talking or counseling is going to get rid of that set point in your body. And I actually have a different opinion. I know that with the healing work that we do at the Purple House, we can get right into your nervous system and press the reset button and change what's going on, change those chemicals, change the energy, and you are a different person from that moment on. And in fact, what I do with my clients is really what saved my life too. Otherwise, I would still be walking around with a broken mind. And today I can say, thankfully, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm very, very grateful for that, that I'm feeling very sane and stable and steady. And I never even could have expected to feel as good as I do today. So, having said that, I want to go over 4 things that I see where my clients get it wrong, and it deepens the fear and goes underground in their system. So, number 1 that springs to mind is like positive thinking. So, sometimes I have families in my room and I hear people talk to each other, and sometimes the wife will say to the spouse, don't say that, that's negative. So in other words, they are kind of trying to control the situation by always keeping the conversation what we call positive, all right? So, but I tend to disagree with doing that, because there's really in life no such thing as positive or negative. I don't think we should label things like that. This is totally my personal opinion, so feel free to disagree. I think when you're in a relationship with people, close family, you need to keep things real, because our bodies are the truth detectors. Our bodies always respond to the truth. So if you're pretending to be positive and you're hiding a pain or suffering or, a stress, and you're diverting the conversation, or you're just amping up the positivity, you're going to cause a lot of stress in the relationship. You actually create toxic energy in the relationship, in yourself, and also between you and your loved one. So I think positivity, just give that a miss for a while and just be brave and courageous and speak your own truth, right? And you'll feel a sense of freedom. So maybe people get positivity confused with freedom. And positivity in itself comes from fear, right? So if you look, ask yourself if you're one of those people who want to keep everything positive, but let's say your dog is dying or something. Let's choose an example like that. Your beloved pet has cancer and he's dying, and you and your family members don't want to talk about it because you want to keep things positive. That's going to deepen your stress levels. It's going to cause you to be fragmented and cause a lot of distress and toxic atmosphere in the house. So I'm going to recommend that you just be brave, have courage, step into your own voice, and share how you really feel about it, like your deepest, your own truth. So your truth is something that you feel. Nobody can debate with that, right? So, and so that's point number 1. I think I've just seen a lot of that recently, so I wanted to make a point of that. So positivity is going to make your anxiety worse. Besides, the person that is suffering from the anxiety is not going to feel heard if you're always being positive. Actually, something springs to mind now. So in 2006, I was hit by a truck. I left for dead on the road and I was paralyzed. I was flown to Melbourne. I was conscious, by the way, the whole time. I didn't go unconscious except for a few hours. And then Pete was with me in ICU, and I had so many broken bones and I was in absolute agony most of the time, but I didn't want to talk about it because the pain was so bad that, sometimes it's so bad there's no point sharing it with anyone. But Peter, who was really there to be with me, he just couldn't express what it was like for him. So he would just say things like, you won't remember any of this. Or he would say things like, the visitors would come and he would say, she won't remember any of this in a few weeks, or it's all going to be better or something. But that totally did not help me at that point in time. And it made me feel really anxious and panicky, because I thought, well, nobody is with me here in this moment of time, and I just needed him to be himself. I wish Peter could have said something like, I can't stand it. I can't bear sitting next to your bed while you're in agony or something like that. But we've talked about it since then, and we've grown a lot. So it's much, much better to be yourself and just share with your loved one what's going on for you on the inside, okay? That's really a form of positivity. So another Another strategy that people do, and I used to do this myself, is like fear rises up in your body and we push it away. So we do this internally, by the way. So you push it away. So you might, how do you push it away? You might quickly think about something else. Or you override it with something else. So that's not going to help either, because it's just going to build up and get in the way of you feeling alive, because you're numbing yourself out. So people also numb themselves out by drinking, using drugs, smoking, you know, all that, you eating. But in the meantime, this chunk of fear in your body is just gradually growing, and it's going to be harder to push it away as well. Pushing away, again, is not really a long-term solution. Short term, yes, maybe if you're standing in the queue or something and you can't do your inner work, you can push it away momentarily. So, this is another one. Number 3, I used to do this all the time. Like a fear would come up, and then I would think about it, and analyze it. I would worry about it. But I confused that with problem solving. So I would just be like a dog with a bone. So a fear would arise in my body, and I would just think about it. And I thought, if I think about it long enough, I'll solve this problem. But actually, fear can't be thought away. So you can't do that either, because that turns into anxiety as well. And and then number 4, this is another thing that I sometimes see with parents. So like a child comes to me and it's full of fear, it's totally in survival mode, like totally in survival, and full of fear in their bodies. And it's something to do with a situation at school, or maybe, you know, a situation that seems unavoidable, and the parents have been advised, or they feel that they should just force their child through that situation, use push and force, and keep pushing the child back into that situation that creates massive amount of stress hormones in the child. Well, sometimes this seems to work on the outside, but on the inside, of course, the child is being destroyed. But on the outside, it might seem that it's all going well, but it actually isn't. So, if this is you, or it's one of your children, I'm going to show you a really simple exercise you can do straight away now. And so the fear thing turns on when you're only like this big, right? So like the size of a jelly bean, about 9 weeks into the pregnancy. So I'm talking about you while you were being formed. You can't remember being this big, but science knows that this is when you first registered fear, or your nervous system first got used to feeling fearful. It's actually called a fear paralysis. So what you need to do is cross your arms like this, right? If you can, cross your arms as many times as possible, and rest your hands on your chest area, and do this as many times as you can in the day. You can keep your eyes open, but I was just tuning into my body, to enjoying the feeling straight away. That feels more relaxing. So you can do that now. You can also cross your legs. So the point here is to cross the midline of your body as many times as possible. So like if I go like that, it's already crossed several times, and then you cross your legs as well. This is a good way to rest in bed before you go to sleep at night. And what it does, it literally helps your body to grow new neural pathways in your brain. And these pathways are different to your fear and survival pathways. These pathways in your brain are going to help you enjoy your life, have fun, and start to thrive. So this is really, really great for children. But if the children are too young, you can just simply go like that, or fold your arms. Even when people fold their arms like this, by the way, and you sit back and relax, some classroom teachers or some coaches, they feel offended. They think, that person isn't listening, but actually that nothing could be further from the truth. We instinctively fold our arms like that to make our brain think better, because we're getting our left and right brain to integrate and talk to each other, and that's why we instinctively do that. So you can teach your child to sit like this. But this is like fantastic. So 10 or 20 minutes a day, go like that. That straight away helps your body to become more spacious and more relaxed and less stressful, and to see more opportunities. Like, because when you're in your stress brain, the world literally passes you by, because you have like focal vision and you don't see what's going on around you, and you might miss out on your true love. You miss out on making money. You miss out on promotions. Your life isn't much fun. And trust me, I've been there. I've been lucky enough that I've been married nearly for 40 years with Pete, been together for 40 years, 6 beautiful children. I just have always had great support, and my internal world has at times was still absolute hell on earth, right? So the external world doesn't always have to do with it. It doesn't always make sense to people. So let's talk about fear. So like, fear comes up in your body. So I'm going to invite you to think about something that you're really, really scared of, or a situation that you absolutely dread, right? It can be not have money to pay your bills on time, a health scare, you hate your job but you're too scared to leave, you are stuck in a relationship that's not serving you. What else can you think of? You might have a boss who is abusing you, or your mother-in-law or something like that, and you're too scared to change something in your life, to step up. So now the first thing you do is, feel where that sits in your body. So I'm just playing along with you, and I'm going to pretend that sits here. So I'm putting my hand here. Now I'm letting my body know I am with you. Okay? So the trick is now, if you're a fearful person and you have a lot of stress in your body, it wants to come up, and that's a good thing. So I want you to sit on it like you're sitting on the volcano, and you stay sitting on it. So see if you can do that. Because most people are even fearful of fear itself, right? And they think, if I let it go, if I let the stopper go, I'm going to blow up, I'm going to drown, it's going to be too intense, I'm going to go crazy. But I can assure you the intensity will never last longer than 10 minutes, okay? So feel that feeling and notice the quality of the energy. Like, if you sit with it long enough, you actually start to realize this is just an energy. It's not me. It's not the real me. It's an energy that's coming up. Okay, so now your body will want to come up with stories like, I feel scared because remember that time, that you did this and you got hurt, or remember that other time. So these are all stories that are going to amplify your fear. So just make sure you shut your brain out and connect to the feeling and make that fear more and more intense. So if you watch the replay later, you can stop the video and tune into your fear. Just find a nice big fat one. It's something that you're really scared of, and work with it. So, and allow that to come up. So then what you do, you ask yourself, is that energy, the fear energy, is it still or moving? Okay, so take notice, is it still or moving? And you give yourself the answer. Then you say, does it have a color? What's the color? Does it have a smell? And if it had a smell, what would it be? If it had a sound, what would it be? If it had a temperature, what would it be? If it was to touch it with my hands, what would it feel like? And so on and so on. So you really get to know it, like you get to know your fear energy intimately. And so you lean into it, you sit on it, you welcome it in, you make it really, really big. And then it's going to dissipate. once you've given it enough attention, it's just like a little child that's been banging on your door and been crying out for years. You give it enough attention and then the child is content and it leaves you alone. Well, fear will actually do exactly the same. So after it peaks, after it reaches the peak, so you need to work with yourself and press the button and stop it in the replay, it will dissipate, and now you need to introduce the opposite emotion, which in this case is unconditional love or love. So think about the time that you felt fully loved, or that you felt this beautiful wave of love through your body, and give that a color or a scent, like a fragrance, and inhale that now into your body, especially into your belly, because fear likes to sit in your belly. So breathe that deeply into your belly and out, and there might be some more little puffs of fear that come up, and you just welcome them in, 2 and out. And then this is one way that you got rid of one layer of fear from your onion that's never going to come back, and you start to feel really relaxed and not stressed. So you can also, while you do that, remember to ground yourself and feel your feet on the floor, feel your bum on the chair, feel real solid and grounded. Because fear has a flighty element, so like it wants to flutter around, so just ground yourself. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to share today, and I hope you find this helpful. This is definitely something that does work for everyone. You can do it with your child or your children or your partner. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, if you can't do it by yourself, get your loved one to talk you through it slowly, like all the steps. I'm going to post them here near the video, and you'll be amazed what sort of insights and images you get from yourself when you take the time to get to know your fear, the fear energy. And I can assure you it's going to get less and less. People want to recognize you because you feel so, you even have a calming influence on everyone around you, because you've been brave enough to not make your fears positive, to not push them away, to not over worry and all the rest. And you're actually doing something really healthy and productive here that's going to transform your life bit by bit. Every time you do it, you're going to be transformed. So I hope you really enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe, everyone, and have a really enjoyable week. And I'll see you again next week. And feel free to post comments, but your own experiences or, fears and phobias that you might have, because we're all in the same boat. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.